All right. I want to welcome everybody again to one of our Jewel from our Jewels. We absolutely love these every week. Um, it's just such a great time to be together and learn from these awesome jewels we have in our company that are so giving and want to do Plexus One and help us. And this one today is really exciting because I got to meet him last month when I was up in Idaho, and he is the only emerald right now in Idaho, and he's a man ambassador. So it's really exciting to have him on this call, and I can't wait for you to meet him. He's a really fun guy, and here he is, Mr. Jon Taylor.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I switched to my phone because my iPad wasn't cooperating. So.
Okay. Looks good.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on. Like Cindy said, we had the opportunity to meet last month and actually be on a Jewel panel together, which was the first Jewel panel ever in Idaho, which was awesome. And Cindy just happened to be kind of in town, and it just kind of worked out perfectly for her to be a part of it as well, which was great. And she asked me if I would be on this call and share a little information with everybody. So just a little background, because I know probably most of you don't know me, just to give you kind of a brief overview. My wife and I got started with Plexus in January 2014, on January 2nd. She had been doing another MLM for 2 years and had busted her tail and had not really had any success with it. And so when our upline, Susan Stern, came to my wife Kathy to talk to her a little bit more about it, she was, very hesitant. Obviously, when she brought it to me, I just kind of rolled my eyes and said, no, we already have one of those. We don't need another one. And then she started telling me how things were different, quote unquote. Oh no, this one's so much different. And I'm like, okay, yeah, another eye roll. Like, they all say that, because they're all better than the other one. But when we started getting to the nuts and bolts of what makes Plexus different, especially from the one that she was doing, like the no parties, no inventory, the no sales quotas, required, those kind of things, it kind of piqued my interest. So long story short, we signed up January 2nd, 2014. Both of us kind of signed up with the intention of trying to lose weight. Which we did. My first month, I lost 21 pounds, which was super exciting to me. The thing I think we're most excited about is kind of those unexpected things coming in from a weight loss standpoint. I'd been a soda addict for 20 plus years, where almost daily I'd drink at least a 32 to 44 ounce Coke or Dr. Pepper, typically first thing in the morning to start my day, because I'm not a coffee drinker. So that's kind of how I kickstarted my day. I'd quit soda, quote unquote, quit soda about 100 times before in my life, usually for about a week, maybe a month, and every day until, I'd reached that point where I'd kind of go back to it. I was just craving soda. So when we first started Plexus, I went cold turkey, just kind of stopped again, thinking we'll see how long this lasts. And within the first week, my cravings were gone. We actually went out to dinner and bought a soda with dinner just out of habit. And I was drinking it and going, this tastes kind of funny. Kathy said the same thing. And I was like, is it really flat to you? And she's like, no, mine tastes super sweet. And I'm like, oh, mine just tastes, super flat. And I'm like, maybe it's the machine. So we went to the other one, tried it again, still nothing. So that was one of those moments where we're like, that can't be Plexus working already, really. And but it was the cravings things, both of us. Kathy's a proclaimed sugar addict. I was more secretive about my sugar addiction, even though it was there. But in fact, when we first went to sign up, Susan had done a post about how something tasted too sickening sweet that she couldn't finish it. And I flat out told Kathy, I don't know if I want something that's not going to allow me to enjoy sweets, because I kind of enjoy that aspect of life. So long story short, we had great success our first month, and it just kind of magnified from there. From the product testimonial side, we started getting all those other things that people were talking about too, that sustained energy and just overall better health and control over cravings, and it was natural cravings, not the forced ones where you have to follow a crazy strict diet and everything. So we love that. From a business standpoint, we had success right off the bat as well. We had, I think, 6 ambassadors first month. I went silver in 13 days, which was awesome. But I mean, it was like a really good friend of ours that we'd already been talking to prior to signing up, and then my dad, and then another friend, and then my cousin joined later that month as well. I went gold in March, so 3 months into it. I went ruby 2 months after that, senior ruby 2 months after that. Or, sorry, gold, senior gold 2 months after that, ruby 2 months after that, and then senior ruby at the end of the year, actually on New Year's Eve. And then I went emerald in April of this year. So it took me 16 months to get from senior ruby to emerald. But, you know, even though I was watching everybody, it seemed like around me, promote faster than me that were at senior ruby with me, you know, it was one of those things where they always say, you know, comparison is the thief of joy. So that was a lesson for us, that we were super happy for them and not to get down on ourselves. It made us really start to question, especially me, like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not ranking up when all these other people seem to be doing the exact same thing? But I just understood that, you know, it's just my journey. And once we get there, you know, that struggle is worth every minute of you know, the frustration or disappointment that we may have had along the way, because it's just surreal to finally have attained our goal of getting to emerald. So that's a little bit about me. Is there anything else you'd like me to touch on, Cindy?
How many leaders do you have on your team now? How is that look?
We have a leaders page that we set up for those that have kind of said that they're committed and they're ready to run with us. And at first it was just kind of those people, and then we kind of changed it about 6 months ago, where we told people it's going to get a lot more serious. I listened to Ellen Ford talk a couple times about how she runs her leaders page and how she holds them accountable and gives them challenges and expects everybody to participate, and they have like a PE requirement that they have to maintain. You know, or new ambassadors each month that they have to, you know, get signed up and that kind of thing. So we kind of changed that. So right now, I think the last number I looked at, I think we have 29 people on that page. But again, the only requirement that we set forth at that point was, you know, you have to be silver, you have to be actively working your business. And because, you know, we're looking at, and there's no limit as far as levels either. So it's not just our leaders on levels. So we have people that are level 1s all the way down to our level 7s who really get it. And the majority of them are local too. And I think the benefit of that has been great, because we've seen things being duplicated all the way down, especially on those legs, because they see how we do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, and we always have people that are on that page that are messaging us going, hey, I think you should add this person, you know, and we're like, well, that's great that they tell you they're really excited and tell you they're really committed, but we kind of need to see it ourselves before we'll make that decision about whether or not to add them. And we've also had some people that, you know, we throw out some challenges saying, hey, this is what we're going to do for the next 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. And, you know, they come to us and just say, I don't think I can commit to that right now for whatever reason. And we just say, okay, well, we're going to remove you for now. But, you know, it's not a done deal. It doesn't mean that you can't come back later on when you are, you know, through school or past this moving process or whatever it is that they're, you know, wrapped up in. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Were you going to share a little bit about leadership for us?
Yes. So, leadership in general is one of the things that I'm most passionate about. And I loved, and Cindy was there. I know we had our Jewels breakout at convention, which was awesome. And one of my favorite things from that was Melissa Darby, who's a Diamond Ambassador, was up on stage with the Jewel panel. And she talked about how important it is to help people to become leaders. And she basically said that, if someone is really excited and they want to take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and just really, jump into something, take over a project, a challenge, whatever it is, that even if they can only do it at 70 to 80% of what you personally can do it at, or what you feel like you could do it at, she's like, you have to give people the opportunity to lead. And because that's the only way that we can duplicate the things that we're doing in this business. And Kathy and I, that was a very important lesson that I felt like we learned after about a year in this business. Is we were at Senior Ruby, everything was great, but we got to Senior Ruby, and part of the reason why it took us so long to get from Senior Ruby, well, I thought it was long because it took me 16 months, and every month I was watching those points. But one of the things that we learned is that we had some people that we considered leaders, but the majority of those leaders were never actually given the opportunity to be leaders. And part of that is because a lot of them are local with us. And so anytime there was an opportunity meeting, Kathy and I, for the most part, were involved in some form or another. We either, found the venue and did the graphic and promoted it, and, found the people that were going to share their testimonials, or, we were the guest speakers, or we helped co-present, or whatever it was. And we looked at a lot of those people that knew that we would do that because it needed to be done. And we weren't just going to sit around and be stagnant. But by doing that, we also recognized that there was a huge void in our leaders and with their leadership abilities, because they had never been given the opportunity to step up and do that. So last year, I'd say for about the last 7 or 8 months, that was something that we were very focused on. We were still involved with it. We still hosted our own opportunity meetings and things, but we really pushed our leaders and encouraged them to step up and to, team up with somebody else, either in their downline or even just in the sideline, and just say, hey, do you guys want to do a meeting? And we offered our assistance and said, we can help out wherever you need us if you want us. And sometimes people took us up on that, and sometimes they didn't. But it was a really important lesson for us. And talking about Leaders Retreat, since we're in the middle of the Leaders Retreat contest right now too, Kathy and I were blown away because we're actually talking about it last night and trying to figure it out. And I think last year, when the Leaders Retreat contest started, we had 4 or 5, we couldn't remember exactly when the promotions happened, but it was 4 or 5 senior golds on our team. Those were the highest ranked ambassadors on our team other than myself. And we had 8 or 9 gold ambassadors. And the only people on our team that qualified were 3 silver ambassadors. They're the only ones that qualified for Leaders Retreat last year outside of Kathy and I. Kathy and I both qualified ourselves. But it was the silver ambassadors, and the 3 silver ambassadors that qualified are 3 of the ones that are on that leaders page right now that are really pushing and really doing the things that, we've instructed and taught them to do, that we've, been taught to do from our upline and mentors. But they really just hit it hard. And so that was a huge eye-opening experience, I think, not only just for our team, but especially for our leaders that felt like, well, I'm senior gold, so I'll probably make it. That they kind of took that for granted, thinking that their team is just going to push them there. And it didn't happen. And part of the reason for a couple of them was the PV. And so I know that's something that we stress to our team over and over and over, is you've got to push hard for those new customers, get the benefit of getting the credits for the new customers, and then push hard for the PV credits as well, because that can be a huge game changer for you in this contest. Because there are a couple of people that added plenty of ambassadors that finished in like the 500 to 600 point range. And it's because every month their PV was at like 200 PV. And because they just focused so much on signing up new ambassadors and helping their team add new ambassadors, which is great. But that's where they were falling short. So it is kind of a balancing act that you want to maximize the points as much as possible from all aspects of it. But like I said, it was just a really important lesson for us to learn about Leaders Retreat and just leaders in general, to let them step up. And then, even if you're a silver ambassador and you feel like, oh, well, I'm not going to make it this year because I'm only silver, there's plenty of opportunity to still make it and qualify on your own. That's the beauty of the Leaders Retreat contest, is that it really is for anybody that can qualify.
Did leaders really, was last year your first leaders or the year before?
No, I went to Orlando 2 years ago.
What level were you when?
So we already saw how amazing. I was a Ruby the first year when I qualified. Like I said, we saw how amazing it was in Orlando, and we'd already made that commitment the day we left Orlando that we're definitely going next year. I don't even care where it's at because this was amazing. We formed some amazing friendships, like lifelong friendships with people that we had never even met face to face, that we still to this day talk to every single day. They're power partners, they're great friends, and that in and of itself led to that moment because it's been an amazing blessing in our lives. But last year at convention, when they announced that it was going to be in Washington, D.C., Kathy and I completely freaked because Washington, D.C. had been a bucket list trip for us that we really wanted to go to. We're both history majors. I had been when I was younger, but didn't really appreciate it. So we really wanted to get back, or we really wanted to go there. And so when they announced it, we were kind of all in at that point. So that's a huge reason why both of us qualified as well. Cause we're like, we're not taking any chances. We're both going to push hard and make sure that we can get there. So.
Okay. Yeah. So as you can see from him and my team has been hearing me go, you have to do it now. You have to start now. You can't decide, next month I'm going to try to do it. You have to use every minute. This year, we're only really seriously 2 months and 2 weeks. Usually we have 3 full months because we go to September 15th. So we got to work extra hard, but it's going to be totally worth everything. And like he said, we need to get that PV. The PV is critical on getting there. Also, John, I want you to share a little bit about being a man ambassador for us because we have a lot of man ambassadors. And I was really excited at convention, all that room of man ambassadors. Wow, that was huge.
Yeah, that meeting was amazing. And it was funny because I remember hearing multiple guys talking about how they figured there'd only be about 100 to 200 people there.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, there were probably 200 people standing in the back of the room, another 50 to 100 standing on both walls. It was unbelievable. So from a ambassador standpoint, it's been a learning experience, I think, from me, and I get that question a lot. In fact, I've had 3 or 4 people message me since convention that are ambassadors saying, hey, so-and-so said I should friend you and reach out to you, see if there's any advice you can give me because I'm an ambassador. I'm the only one on my team of all women, and how do I, blah, blah, And so, I told them, first and foremost, I just always tell people just embrace it. I mean, it is what it is. It's yes, this business is very predominantly female. That's not a bad thing. I think in a lot of ways, it actually allows me to have a different perspective. Sometimes even than just, my wife, she and I will talk about things and she'll see things happening one way and I'll see it from a different perspective. We have different ideas. So anytime that you can collaborate with a spouse or significant other, it's awesome. Just to get that extra little piece of advice or some kind of different mindset that you may not currently have. She's also my soundboard in my venting session, which is great. But we've had a lot of times, especially early on when, it's so exciting and new and we're trying to figure things out where, we'd be like, all right, we need to go to bed because it was like 10:30. And all of a sudden it's 12:30 and we've stayed up talking about Plexus for the last 2 hours and coming up with strategies and different people we wanted to talk to and ways to help our team and everything. And so it's been a total blast. So like I said, just embrace it, whatever the situation may be. One of the things that I've learned from, being an ambassador that, Kathy and I have talked about is when I talk to buddies of mine from high school, that are men, typically, they may be intrigued a little bit by the product side of things, obviously, which is great. But for the majority of them, the products is not what seals it for them. It's when I start talking about the business aspect of them, especially for those that are, the primary breadwinners in their family or something. And we start talking about how I've been able to do this while working a full-time job with 5 kids while being very heavily involved in our church youth and those kind of things. I mean, we've had to do this balancing act and, but it's real, it's real for everybody. Everybody's busy. Everybody has things in their life that take up their time. So when I can talk to some of my friends about how this amazing business opportunity has alleviated some of that financial strain and stress on our family, has given us opportunities we never thought we could do, like go to Disney World last year with our family of 7. Never would have been in the budget, even if we saved for years and years and years, because there always would have been unexpected costs that came up and that would have eaten that away. And, it's those kind of things, but even more so than that, it's the day-to-day thing. It's the no longer living paycheck to paycheck. And like I said, a lot of times talking with other, potential men that are could be interested in joining. It's the business side of things. Yeah, I want to lose weight. Yeah, I want to get healthier. I'm starting to slow down a little bit. I'm only in my mid-30s, whatever. But, as soon as I say, yeah, and I've done this in and around my full-time job with family responsibilities, and it's significantly contributed to our financial situation, that's kind of what perks their ears up a little bit. And that's obviously not true of everybody, but that's just kind of, a norm where, Kathy's learned that talking with some of her friends, primarily it's always about the product side of things. It's, what is it doing for you, a stay-at-home mom that's busy and tired and those kind of things, whereas she very rarely ever leads with the business opportunity. And that's kind of one of those differences that we've recognized.
Yeah, it's kind of good to talk about a plan A and a plan B, right? With the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially even around our area. I don't know if it's true, but I just read an article about, we have a huge nuclear plant here. It's been here forever, Diablo Canyon, and they're saying within the next 10 years we're going to close it down. I mean, that's like a city in itself of jobs and people that have careers forever and ever, and it's shutting down. So, I've heard a lot of the man ambassadors say it's great for your family to have plan A and a plan B going, and this Texas is perfect for that. Where are you? So are you going back to like your high school? Like, where are you finding your, other man ambassadors or people?
A lot of them have been high school, college friends. Some of them have just been, acquaintances, people that I've met through jobs and businesses, since high school. But, the majority of them have actually been those people that is kind of just, hey, let's go back. Yeah. Let's talk about the glory days of high school. And, it's just kind of striking up that conversation. And, it's
do always, a lot on Facebook?
Yep. Yeah. I would say 90+% of our business has been strictly on Facebook.
That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've had coworkers and, former coworkers and people that, have joined us as well. That I'm sure Facebook probably contributed some to that. But, some of it's just talking about it randomly. And I was really hesitant at first too. And I don't know how many people are in this kind of a situation, but, I'm on the director's team. I'm a manager at work. And so I was always very hesitant to bring up Plexus because I didn't want everybody feeling like, the supervisors are hawking their side business on us, all the time at work. And so I had multiple coworkers that I never even talked to about Plexus. And then I friended them on Facebook, and within a month, there were 2 of them that both started expressing interest, going, hey, tell me a little bit more about this. And so then I'm like, well, if they're asking for it,
yeah,
it's kind of the green light, and I don't feel bad about talking to them or taking them out to lunch one day, at work and everything, and just kind of going over more specifics. But, I really was very hesitant and very reserved when it came to that, especially at work, because I didn't want to create any bad blood or awkwardness and those kind of things as well.
How often do you post on Facebook about Plexus? Is it just kind of a daily intertwined in your posts?
Yeah, it's usually a daily thing. When we first started, that was kind of how we were instructed, and we just kind of embraced that, that's how other people have been doing it, and they're having a lot of success with it. And it allows you the easy opportunity to reach a large amount of people. And so, we were just posting like that, and then we started hearing more about the Facebook algorithms and being more engaged and more involved in those kind of things. So we've kind of, obviously changed our process a little bit with that as well, and just tried to remain, right out in the open, and also go that line and keep that balance so it's not always just Plexus all the time. And that was me a lot of times because of work and other things. I mean, usually I'd only post maybe once or twice a day, and almost every time it was Plexus. And so Kathy had to start tagging me in a lot of her personal posts because otherwise the only thing popping up on mine would be Plexus stuff. And so I still kind of struggle with that because she always has her phone out taking pictures of the kids or taking pictures of her with friends and everything else. And that's just, that's not second nature to me. So I'm still working on that process.
But that's a great teamwork that you guys are doing. That's awesome that she is tagging you and putting those in there. I like that. That's awesome. Do you have anything that you want to close us all with? Because we're right at 9 o'clock. It was awesome. Time flies on these things, I'm telling you.
Not really. I mean, I don't know, obviously, all of you, I don't know where you're at on your journey, but one of the biggest things that I came away from convention with, and I told our team on our team call the other night that if anybody ever badmouths Alec Clark in front of me, that I will fight them.
Yes.
Because listening to that man talk specifically at our Jewels training, I told Kathy, and I actually got choked up trying to tell her that.
I was crying.
I have never been more moved by him, and I have never had more absolute belief in that man as a leader and in our leadership and executives in general. But just listening to him talk about the direction Plexus is heading, the respect and love that they have for, everybody that's involved with Plexus and their team and the ambassadors and everything else. I said, I was completely blown away listening to them. And, I know that we're right where we're supposed to be for this reason, that we have an amazing opportunity. And, I always hear him say the only way that you don't reach the top is if you're going to quit. And so, that's one of the things that we've stressed to our team is don't quit. You can look at our journey compared to others and even see that we went slower, but we never faltered. We never slowed down because we knew that if we kept pushing, we were going to get there. Mm-hmm. And we absolutely believe that. And I know our company's in great hands. And we have an amazing opportunity with products that are changing people's lives, with a business opportunity that are changing people's lives. And, I'm humbled every day that we're even in this in this position that we're in right now, because, 2.5 years ago, I never would have envisioned that this is what Plexus was going to do for us and for so many of our friends and family that we love. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. One word that hit me there is the word epic. Because even just seeing the grandness of that arena filled with ambassadors, that was huge, epic. But just being a part of something so epic that we are on like a mission kind of to change the world epically, if that's even a word. And so today I kind of want to challenge all of us to think of it as epic. Think of that word epic. Even look up the word epic and write it out. And you're a part of something epic. And I just want to thank Jon again for taking this time with us. It's been a blessing to have you on here, and I'm really excited for you and your family. I just see your team, and you're just going to be diamond very soon. I know it. And it's very exciting. Next time I come up, we'll do another Jewel panel. That'll be fun. And I just want to thank all of you for being on this call today. And let's all unmute and thank Jon.